Man. We should have coordinated these speeches, because they're the same speech just around here. This isn't right. All right, so let's get on with this. All right, good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to congratulate, yes, Cordell, I have to wear glasses now, so I'm getting old. Congratulate my fellow inductees. It's truly an honor. To be included with such an outstanding class of athletes. I had the privilege of coaching Jake and watching him throughout the years of his career. I had the opportunity to see Chelsea play several times during her outstanding tenure at West Deptford, and some of the things I've read about Mike are truly amazing, so congratulations to you all. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for granting me this honor. I'm not sure if I really deserve this, but I just hope I've made West Deptford proud over these last couple of years. Don Martello, Sally Jordan, John Cobb, Mike Hink, Kevin Kitcheman, Bob Alt, Peg Page, thank you all so much for this honor. I truly appreciate it. There are so many people in the past that I need to mention. They were also integral in me getting to this point. People like Chick McNally and Bill Stubbs, who gave me my chance to teach at West Deptford. Jerry Gaiman, who came up to me and asked me if I would be a full-time pole vaulting coach. And when I said yes, he was so happy, because he said it would cost less to pay a coach than it would be to pay for the insurance if you didn't have a coach over there at the pole vault area. I need to thank Steve Michaelchuk and Pete Kelly, who are here. When you're growing up, it's so important to have good coaches to guide you. And these two people were not only good coaches, they were great men and great role models, so thank you. My playing days at West Deptford were good, but I feel this honor comes to me through my coaching. I've learned so much and have been helped by so many, and I hope I don't leave anybody out. I've been lucky to work with, for most of my years, with a wonderful athletic director in Tim Camerata. Tim always does his best to help our team succeed, and he is the first AD I've worked with who really tries to learn all he can about every sport the school is involved in. He's truly an all-around athletic director. I must thank the person who taught me how to be a good coach. You may have the knowledge of how to catch and throw a ball, or you may know how to jump over a bar, run over a hurdle, but how do you teach it to someone else? How do you become a good coach? Luckily, West Deptford hired Clyde Folsom back in the early 90s, and luckily he hired me to be on his football staff, and for the last 20 years, I've been learning from the master coach, motivator, and role model. He's the man who started the change in all of West Deptford coaches and changed West Deptford from the middle of the road to the top of the field in every sport. So thank you, Coach. I need to thank the many athletes that I have had the privilege of coaching. Young men and women like Cameron Atkinson and Dave Renan, Becky Creedon, Anthony Scarrato, Shane Mertz, Jason Morell, Dan Batdorf, Dan Markley, Chris Cooper, AJ Button, Kevon Brown, Pete Salvatore, Cordell Young, Kim Coughlin, Eric Wizakowski, Nick Brandemarty, Steve Mitchell. There are so many, I can go on and on. So many super athletes, and they make coaching easy and fun. So thank you all. I need to thank the wonderful men and women who I have been privileged to have as my assistant coaches. These people have given so much of their time and energy to helping the young people of West Deptford and are never thanked enough or paid enough for all they do. People like one of my teaching and coaching mentors, Larry Beversluis, my office mate Vince Layton, Jill Van Meter, track nut Bob Cooper, Mark Drummond, Bill Moore, and Alison Scalke. I especially want to thank my current staff of assistants who have all been together for the longest of any full staff I've ever had. Steve Segalski, Joel Robinson, and Tim Campbell. They are all wonderful coaches, knowledgeable, organized, and motivators. They are all top-notch men and friends. And when I needed them the most, they were there. So thank you. Now, I've attended almost every Hall of Fame induction ceremony that West Deptford has had. And I always wonder what the inductees will talk about. what they have learned over these past years? Do they appreciate what they've accomplished, what they had back in the day? Do they understand how these lessons affect them today? Do they appreciate what they have now? So now I must live up to my own expectations with this speech here. So why? Why do we have interscholastic sports in schools? School is an academic setting. School is for learning. What do sports teach us? They teach us so much. Maybe not the ABCs or the 1, 2, 3s, but they teach us lessons of life. It teaches about setting goals, what to do, what do I want to do today, what do I want to accomplish this week, this year, or for the rest of my life. They teach us about hard work. They teach us that it may not be easy to reach these goals. It may take time and perseverance. Through athletics, we practice this in a relatively safe environment. We set our goals, we work hard. Sometimes we succeed, and sometimes we don't reach the final goal. But if it's important enough to us, we learn to never give up. Keep going, keep fighting, just never give up. And for me, I've learned that no matter how much I want to believe that I can do this all on my own, I really don't need to rely on anybody else. I've learned that sometimes you need a helping hand. In this world, you might need to put your faith in the people around you. In this life, to accomplish your goal, you might need a team. Now, for my whole life, West Deptford has been my home team. I was born here, I grew up here, and now I live here. I work here, and I raise a family here. Every team at West Deptford is my home team. The football team, the soccer team, the basketball team, field hockey team, every team is my home team. I've got to root for West Deptford, sorry. And the community has always welcomed me and helped me and been behind me, and I truly appreciate that and I'll always be grateful. So I've learned that as you go through life, your goals change. When you accomplish one goal, you move on to the next. I want to be a teacher. I want to be the best teacher. I want to be a coach. I want my team to win. I want my team to be 500. I want my team to be champions. But sometimes as life goes on, that goal can change. It become more simple, more basic. Like I want to get through a speech. But I just want to stay alive. I'm sure a lot of you already know, but some of you may not, but my brother just kind of messed my speech up, so he kind of it. Then the past year I was diagnosed with cancer. I had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. As of now, my doctors say I'm doing well. My last 5 scans have been clear and cancer-free. But I had to go through... But I had to go through months of chemotherapy, surgeries, needles, and spinal taps. The goal had certainly changed, and I knew I could not accomplish it on my own. I needed help. A stick by itself is easily broken. We tie a bunch of sticks together, and they're as strong as a mighty yoke. I need a team. I needed my real home team. And they were there for me like they've always been. And they're here for me today, so I need to thank them. My mother-in-law, Mary Kay, and her friend Ron, who drove me to chemotherapy treatments and cooked food and granted me the most wonderful gift of my wife. So thank you. My sister Gina, she may never have been really interested in my sports career, which is but she always still with us as a family, and is always there when you need her, bringing some lunch and some much-needed company during the long treatments. Thank you. My sister Mary Jude and her husband Scott. Many of you have learned my situation through her heartfelt stories written in the patch by my talented sister. When I was in high school, she was away at college, and she kept up with my exploits through phone calls and messages from home. And when I started coaching, both my sisters would come watch the games with my mother, keeping her company. And she was there, visiting me at the hospital and calling and texting to see how I was doing. Running over to Charlie Brown's when I had craving for steaks, and the doctor would say, just let him eat, let him eat. Sharing her iPod with me and so I had some music to listen to while I was going through treatments. Over the years, we have found a common ground through music, and for many years, she's been one of my favorite concert partners. And through her writing talent, and with some persistence from my brother, they arranged for me to meet my musical hero, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. And for just a little while, there was no cancer, no treatments, no chemo, no bald head, no sickness. It was just a family together, enjoying a special moment with our special new friend. So, that's me. That's my wife. That's Bruce Springsteen. So, thank you, Mary, so much. Which leads me to my brother Tim, who we've all met and who just stole my speech about him. I asked my brother to give my induction speech because I felt I owed it to him. I would not be here today at an athletic hall of fame if not for my little brother. My brother was my personal opponent. The Washington Generals to my Harlem Globetrotters. Not that he was a bad athlete himself, on the contrary, he is a gifted athlete. Just remember that I'm almost like 4 or 5 years older than Tim. So when you're growing up, the older brother that doesn't like to lose, it can be kind of tough on a little brother. So Tim, here, here's my word for word here. Tim was my punching bag, my blocking dummy, and my backstop. I would set him up behind a trash can leg on the ground for a home plate and fire pitch after pitch at him. A 12-year-old can throw a lot harder than a 7-year-old can. I taped couch cushions to his legs and gave him a tennis racket and a catcher's mask and set him up in front of the hockey net and fired slap shot after slap shot at him. I would dunk over him. I would play a one-on-one football with him and fake him out or run him over, whichever I felt like doing. Beat on the side yard or down our hallway playing knee football. We would play Nerf ball, wire ball, rod hockey, electric football, and we even played about 300 games of football one summer, and he never won once. Never. Well, almost. As you've heard, the famous wiffle ball story where our mother called us in for dinner, and before the last out, and I said it didn't count, which it doesn't, because it's big brother rules, and that's the way it goes. But after all those beatings and all the balls to the head, your brother always came back. He always wanted to play. I learned my love of sports and athletics because of my little brother, because it was so much fun. All the games, making up the rules, laughing, just having fun. I could have not had a better roommate. Well, we haven't been roommates for many, many years, and we haven't even lived in the same state since 1985. But he still comes back for more. And now, when I need him the most, he came back to help me through my biggest battle, and he helped me win again. So, thank you, Tim. All right, next, my number one fan. Sorry I had to go through everybody here, folks. My number one fan, my mother, Mary. My mother loved sports. The Eagles, the Phillies, the Flyers. And that helped out a lot because she had put up with so much mayhem from my brother and I. From breaking all the windows in the garage door with hockey balls, denting the walls, and playing indoor football, or bending all the wire hangers into circles to make indoor basketball hoops. But she loved to watch us play. And although I'm not sure how much each football game she saw, because she would always tell me that when I was involved in the play, she would shut her eyes because she was afraid I would get hurt. And forget pole vaulting. She never came to watch me pole vault. She was always eager to ask me if I won that day, but I asked her, like, Mom, come on and watch. And she was like, I'm sorry, Mark, I just can't watch that. But we would watch Eagles games and Flyers games together, and she would yell at Randall Cunningham on the TV. We even went to the NFC Championship game together when the Eagles at the Vet when the Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys, which was so much fun. She would always come to watch the games I was coaching in. I think she liked those games better because she knew I wouldn't get hurt coaching, so she was better with that. My mother passed almost 14 years ago to this day, and I know she would be proud today, and I know she's here with us. because I know she was there with me during this last battle. When I was in an operating room or going through scans or in the rooms where no one else is allowed to go, I would talk to her and pray to her. And she was always there, taking care of me as usual. She hated to watch me lose. So, thanks, Mom. All right, next on the home team. It's my father, Gene, and his wife, Mary. My father introduced me to sports. He would spend hours with me, having a catch in the side yard, teaching me to hit, throw footballs at me, coaching all my little league teams. When I started playing basketball, he built a basketball net in the front of our house. When we started playing hockey, he built a net for us out of wood and chicken wire. He would spend thousands of dollars, so our family could have a 2-week vacation down the shore each summer, but would drive me back and forth on 5 of those days to take me to a Little League championship games. When I decided to stop playing baseball and start running track, it was a difficult decision for me because I was afraid to disappoint him. I knew how much time he had put into teaching me. But was he upset? No. He asked me what I needed to win, and then went out and bought me 2 pole vaulting poles, which cost a couple $100 a piece. And then he drove me and my friends to Rutgers to compete in summer meets. He would drive to Westchester to watch football practices. He would take pictures of my football games. We even had a signal. I would tap the top of my helmet when a pass play was called in the huddle. Thank God none of the other teams caught on to that. He would travel all over South Jersey to watch teams I was coaching. And of course, he was there again in the early mornings with the Daily News and a tangerine for me to drive me to the hospital for treatments. He would sit with me and talk with me about sports or politics. He would watch me pass out from all the medicine they were giving me, and then he was there when I would open my eyes. Always there to give me what I needed to win. Demonstrating to me that even though he's 77 and I'm 49, he's still my father and I'm still his son. And he will always do what it takes to take care of me. So thank you, Dad. All right, then there are the starters on the home team, the ones who had to live with cancer as much as I did. It was thrown in their faces every time they walked through the door. I imagine it was hard to come home sometimes, not knowing what surprises there might be that day. But they did come home every day and some way through this terrible mess. Neither one has ever been too interested in sports, really. But they sure knew how to come together and be part of a team to accomplish our common goal. My daughter, Savannah, obviously she's never seen me play, but for her whole life she heard everyone call me Coach Dixon. When I was in the press box during football games, don't Coach Folsom over there, but I would have her set up in a press box with a coloring book and crayons, and so she'd keep herself occupied during the game. Even when she was attending Pittman schools, her favorite football player was Anthony Scarata. Sorry, Jake. During the spring, she would be out with me on a sunny Saturday at a track meet, hanging out, watching races. I think the number one casualty of coaching is the children of the coach. But she never complained and was happy to come along and watch. And lately, she's been in charge of helping me to feel normal. I know it's difficult to watch your parent become sick, losing weight and losing hair, and realizing they have human frailties. But she was tough. And since I had some free time, I would drive her to and from school, and it was nice. It was time to sit and talk about normal things, just dad and daughter things, and to be normal. She has been my inspiration, and I want to be there for her, to see her graduate high school and college, and to see her get married. So I knew I had to fight for her, and because of her. So thank you, Savannah. All right, and last, everybody's like, yay, last. Last but certainly not least, the one person in this room who is totally disinterested in sports. My wife, Jacqueline. When she was a cheerleader, she would yell for her own team to F-U-M-B Elliott. She has come to spectated some of the games and meets I was coaching at, commenting more on the cheerleaders or the colors of our uniforms than on the activities of the field. And when we're at the mall or local Wawa, she will marvel at all the people who stop and talk to me or say hello, amazed at the number of people I've come in contact with through sports. I know she's never felt that she had many of the qualities it takes to be involved in sports. I'm sure she never thought that she would have to reach so far down deep inside and summon the courage and bravery it would take to lead a team towards a common goal. Only a few in this room can even imagine what it would be like to be married for about a year and hear a doctor say your new spouse has stage 4 cancer. So she became the owner, general manager, head coach, and captain of Team Dixon. She studied, she researched, she interrogated every doctor and nurse. She learned about nutrition and acupuncture, massage therapy, and she made kale smoothies. And would rub my legs when they would cramp up from chemo. She would stay with me all night in the hospital and for hours while I received treatments. And she would hold my hand when she knew I was scared, and she would make me laugh when I needed a smile. There was no thought of losing this battle. Like a true Dixon, competitive to a fault. She would have made a great linebacker, as long as her uniform could be pink and she could put a daisy on the side of her helmet. But she knew I just needed to put my head down and to focus and just to run through the wall. And she let me do that, taking care of all the other little details that would come up. She literally saved my life. And there's no way I could truly ever thank her for that. But I'll say it anyway. Thank you, wife. So, what is the value of sports in the educational setting, besides teaching how to speak? What do we learn? I'll tell you what I've learned. I've learned a lot about friendships and respect, and learned about setting goals and setting them high. I've learned about to gather up a good team around you and working together towards a common goal. I've learned, that to reach that goal it may take hard work, sometimes really hard work. Most of all, I've learned that if something is important, no matter what the obstacles are put in front of you, you never give up. Just never give up. Thank you.
Congratulations to Mark and the entire Dixon family. Tremendous day. I think you see why our first half theme was Brothers in Arms. But I have to say, Tim, that I guess Mark just did have the last word, as he wouldn't give it up on TV. Be content in the fact that NJSIA rules and regs say a suspended game that's 3.5 innings is a official game. So if he won't do it today, you came all the way from Florida, I will for you.